Very good, very nice.
Welcome to another week of being a tepid mess, where we try to keep it together while being not hot but tepid messes. I'm Sonja, and I'm joined today by my co-host Niamh.
Hello.
Hey, how are you, Niamh?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good.
I feel very zen after our rage room that we just did.
Oh yeah. Me too. I feel like my finger might fall off because immediately I feel like that's my hot mess of the week. My tepid mess of the week is going to a rage room and within 5 seconds hurting my finger in the rage room, and now I have a blood blister on my baby finger, and I'm like, rip.
For anyone who's never heard of a rage room, it essentially is just a room with loads of stuff that you can just smash up with like baseball bats and hammers and stuff like that. And apparently, alarmingly, the clientele is overwhelmingly female.
Yeah.
And kind of female, young women in their 20s.
Yeah. He was asking. I mean, there was a guy there that's running it. I think it's the first one in Ireland.
Yeah,
definitely
I don't know.
the first one in Cork for sure. But he was asking us. He goes, what's that about? He was like, why is there so many of you? I was like, it's just ask the men.
Yeah.
I was like, this is for all the boys named Sean. Smash into the. I don't know any Seans. I've never dated
I know,
a Sean.
because when he was saying it, I was like, I don't think I can go into an in-depth analysis of the patriarchy with this man right now. I think that's inappropriate.
Yeah.
Like,
I know, that's it. It's like, look, you're probably part of the problem. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
if you're not, you probably benefit from the problem.
Yeah.
So let's not get into it. We've only got 15 minutes in this room. But
I feel more relaxed than as if I'd been on a spa day or something.
I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah, I feel very chilled.
Chill. So relaxed.
It's going to put my therapist out of a job. Like, I'm going to be going to the rage room once a week instead of therapy.
Yeah. I could do that. Yeah. I started because I finished up therapy in December when I moved back to Cork, and now I'm like, what will fill the void? But it is like, I mean, really good idea. I love the concept.
Me
I
too.
really hope it picks up because I think there's room for more of these kind of spaces in Cork and in wherever you are, where you're living.
And I feel like, honestly, if I had like a really crap day, I think it'd be amazing just to be like, you know what, now I'm just going to go in there now and wallop the crap out of things for 15 minutes and let it all out.
Yeah, I want to have like the unhinged female rage like playlist playing. I want big headphones, noise cancelling, and just smack the shit out of some metal drums.
Yeah, love it.
The dream.
How was your week besides?
It was good. I started a new job. So started on Monday. It is going well so far, but I'm at that stage. You know, you're new to anything and you're just trying to adapt. Nobody else is new around you, so they all are speaking about things that have been happening long before you joined, and they need your help to start figuring things out. And you're like, but I'm baby. I'm baby. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So that's the current stage. I think you really forget the mental drain that much intense, like you probably even when you're doing your masters and like that intense kind of learning and studying and stuff like that, like it just occupies your brain so much.
Yeah.
So
100%. Yeah, you have to be on the whole time.
Yeah. And then everyone's asking you that, like, how's your first week going? And it's like, good.
Yeah.
I think. How do you think it's going? I feel like I'm too insecure to be like, everything is great, because then people could secretly be like, this fucking one.
Yeah.
She's too big for her breeches.
Yeah.
Is that the phrase?
Too big for your boots, I think. Your breeches.
What are breeches?
I think that's like a Victorian term for trousers.
Ye old breeches.
Yeah, this is very berries and cream. I'm a little lad who loves berries and cream in my breeches. Too big for your breeches. I like it.
Yeah. So no, I think that was the big news for my week, really. Yesterday went to a cocktail making class at a gin distillery based in Cork City.
Yeah.
Apparently the only distillery based in Cork City
No way.
for hard liquor.
Okay.
And they make their own absinthe, which is quite cool.
Oh my god.
And we got to try it. It was disgusting.
Disgusting.
I'm sure it was delicious if you like absinthe, but like
I don't know who likes absinthe.
Yeah.
Because I remember being in Berlin in like an absinthe bar, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this is like a really smoky one." I'm like, "It just tastes like petrol, if you ask me."
Yeah, it's a really intense licoricey flavour, and I'm sure we all have some stories of drinking too much Sambuca on nights out. But it's not sticky like Sambuca, so
yeah.
At least there's that.
I have to say, I think Sambuca was such a thing when we were in college. I feel like everyone was like, if you weren't doing a Jaeger bomb, you were doing a Sambuca.
Yeah.
And I think I must have only been about 20. Sambuca repeated on me. I think I'd done about 5 shots of Sambuca in a night.
Jesus Christ.
And let me tell you, that stuff burns like nothing else coming back up. Like, so even the smell of it now, actually the hairs are standing up on my arm thinking about it. It's just trauma, like.
Yeah, Sambuca is rough. Like, it is such a rough drink to drink.
Yeah.
Do you know what I had actually last night, right? Fireball behind the counter.
Oh my god, that's like an American thing, right?
Yeah, but it's so, like, look, if you don't like cinnamon, don't do it, you'll vomit. Like, 100%. It's such a strong cinnamon flavour, but honestly, when you expect something and you're used to something like Sambuca and you drank absinthe earlier that night,
you're like, this is a tasty little shot of Christmas.
I was like, what is this nectar of the gods?
I don't think Fireball has ever been described as nectar of the gods.
It's fucking delicious. It's up there with Bailey's tea.
Yeah, it's up there.
Replace your milk with Bailey's, and I'm telling you, you're gonna have a great time.
You're gonna have a great night.
Fab.
Oh my gosh.
How was yours?
My week was good. It was busy. What did I do? To be honest, outside, like, I'm so boring midweek. I feel like my midweek is like very clean girl aesthetic. Like, genuinely, I just like get up, I go to the gym, I go to work, I come home, I eat, I do some menial tasks and go to bed. I've actually become 40, like, in the space of a year. But yeah, no, on Friday I had a Kris Kringle gift exchange, better late than never. And I got some cookery classes, which Lord knows I need. I'm an atrocious cook. Sonja, bless her, has witnessed it and experienced it.
Have you ever cooked for me?
Oh, babe, I'd say down through the years now, you've definitely been subjected to some kind of concoction of mine. See, I don't really cook per se. I'll just kind of create an array of frozen things. Like, honestly, it's like, chicken okay, nuggets. Yeah, it's like, what's your dinner? Oh, it's baked beans with waffles and some potato croquettes that I found.
I think there was one time you said you ate scrambled eggs for a full week straight.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, that's not uncommon for me. Yeah. That I'll just be like, get home and I'll just be like, oh, I'll just make scrambled eggs. I should probably throw a vegetable in at some point. Is there a bit of frozen broccoli there? Yeah, throw that on the side. Grand. Honestly, I'm such a divil. So my Kris Kringle got me some cookery classes in the cookery cottage. So I'm looking forward to that. It's kind of like a thing where you BYOB and you cook your meal and then you get to sit down and have a drink and have your meal afterwards. So it's like a cute little date night kind of thing. So that'll be fun. My week, yeah. Midweek was really boring, so I've just said that. And then Saturday, yeah, just like took it easy. And I actually have, oh my God, I'm so very scared. So Saturday, just took it easy. I'm moving in with my boyfriend for a couple of months because his parents are away. Nice. So to be honest, like yesterday kind of consisted of moving a lot of, I had a bit of car trouble in the morning as well, which we won't even go into, but ended up moving most of my stuff down yesterday after kind of a bit of a rocky start. And yeah, today then it was kind of, I've very, very selfishly created a wardrobe space that consists of Fergus's parents' spare room. So I have moved the bed up onto its side, bought like freestanding rails, and it's now my walk-in wardrobe. So a lot of today was making my walk-in wardrobe, which was a lot of fun. But yeah, I felt kind of bad afterwards because I was like, I've literally just upended their house.
Yeah.
I've just, do you know, like when you know, like it's a boy house and a girl house? I had to girlify the house today. Do you know that kind of way? Yeah, no, so I came in with my rituals candles and my pillow sprays. Yeah, and my weighted blanket, I swear, I can't. I actually stayed in a hotel over the Christmas, and you know, hotel beds just hit different. They're so comfy.
So good.
But I couldn't sleep properly, and I'm telling you, I think I need the crushing weight of a weighted blanket pressing down on me to help me sleep now.
You sleep at night with the weighted
Oh,
blanket?
babe, it's me duvet, and then I fold the weighted blanket over on itself, so it's essentially a double weighted blanket, and I'm like, crush me. Like, I swear to God, I can't sleep without it. I'm like, I need the sensation of like a 90 kg person on me to sleep.
No, I think I'm completely the opposite then. Like, even like a duvet half being on me, I'm like, it's too much. I wake up, I'm sweating. I'm like, where am I? I just can't even, because like I have like a little bed. I have 2 blankets that I put on my bed, and then I also have pillows, and it fucking drives my boyfriend nuts, because the end of every day, right? The whole thing was a learning curve, because first of all, he's like, why do you have them if they don't provide purpose? I was like, what if one day I'm cold and I want it? What if one day I'm too hot and I want that blanket instead of the quilt? Like, there are reasons for everything. But if you sleep with just that blanket, and if you sleep on top of my decorative pillows, you're disgusting.
Disgusting.
I'm like, you don't. He's there like sleeping on the decorative pillow, which also is like, it's not a soft pillow, and I'm like, get your face off of it. I don't know why.
You know me now with the cleaning. I'm like borderline OCD when it comes to cleaning. Like, as in, I'm crazy. But like at one point, I think it was during the year, I developed this thing. I think I saw it on TikTok, and then I was like, I never thought about that. That's gross. Do you know, like when you wear your like clothes you've been wearing out all day and you sit in your bed?
Yes.
That's criminal. That's jail. Like, that's disgusting. And I was like, I've been out here doing this my whole life, my beautiful sheets. Then himself came in one day and sat on my bed. In fairness, he'd been out exercising. And I was like, oh, you're going to have to get up. And he was like, why? And I was like, your outside clothes are on the bed. And he was like, Niamh, I think we need to book you in. Like, you need help. Like, I was like, maybe that's taking it a step too far. Maybe I just need to take a deep breath now and let that one go.
Yeah, there's a lot of these, like, I love clean talk.
So do I.
Find it so soothing. But there's so many things. It makes me paranoid about everything. And honestly, if I have a day off, I spend my whole day cleaning. And why? Like, it's just, like, it's things like, I'm cleaning the fucking... Do you know what I did the other day? I pulled out my dishwasher to clean the side, which is... pushed them back in and can never be seen again. It wasn't even dirty. I was like, clean talk has me brainwashed.
Do you know what? Sometimes I think the clean talk thing is that you're like, is everyone else doing this and I'm a dirty wagon?
I know.
Like,
that's it.
Am I filthy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, oh right, okay, I'm disgusting.
Yeah,
in multiple ways.
I think it plays in. I talk about it all the time, but I swear to God, I think Catholic shame has a lot to do with this. Honestly.
Yeah.
I think I can blame Catholic shame on almost. I can attribute every negative feeling that you're feeling into Catholic shame.
Well, I think it's a very female experience as well. But I also think that, do you know, I think we can all say that our parents, especially, like nearly all of our parents in some way were like, do you know, you go home and you might see like more dust on certain things and you're like, oh, I wouldn't do that in my own home. But like, you have to think about as well the stage of our lives that we're in. We actually don't have a whole lot else to focus on. Yeah. Whereas like these, like we could be, you come back to us in like 30 years time and who gives a fuck if there's dust on top of your cabinets that literally no one ever looks at and you never look at. Like, if you don't do that every weekend, that's true. Fine.
Yeah, my dad makes a joke sometimes when I come in to like the kitchen and it's dirty. He like starts singing, you know, the Darth Vader, like dun 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 dun. Because I'm like, how the hell left this here? If this is still here in an hour, I'm putting it in the bin. I don't care who owns it. I just like go spare, and my mom's like, oh, I can't wait until she has a child.
Yeah.
All of this is going to go out the window once you're sleep deprived and wrecked. Yeah. You won't be giving out about when were the windows last washed then.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm enjoying this like lifestyle of like seeing dust on the floor and be like for now, right? Whether I enjoy it or not, I can ask my next psychiatrist. But, you know, right now I'm accepting the fact that the stage I'm at in my life, I actually don't have a lot else to focus on. And yeah, I think I'll find more things as we go on down the line, down the road.
Babe, what was your, so your tepid mess moment of this week, was it the finger?
Definitely the finger. I mean, it was just so dumb because I just immediately went, okay, here's a bat. Let me swing the bat, but also let me swing the bat while it's really close to my hand against a big metal drum. So that felt kind of tepid mess. I have to say, for the most part, just my week has just been dying brain cells just from learning all the ins and outs of a new job, and insurance industry is always a minefield. But it's nothing too crazy this week now, thank God. And you know, the fireball and the absinthe. I
I think that sounds like good fun. That doesn't sound like tepid mess at all to me.
Yeah. What's yours? What's your tepid mess moment of the week?
Okay, my tepid mess moment of the week. Okay, it's been a kind of a fairly hectic week for me, just moving and all that kind of crack. And I realised yesterday when I was out and about, keep in mind now, had left, was in my car, gone, left the house, and I stopped in the petrol station to get some milk and to get some petrol. And it was as I was filling, it was like a prepay pump as well, so I'd been in the shop, people had seen me. So I was filling up my car and I went to put my hand into my pocket of my sweatpants, realised they were inside out.
Oh. I've done that loads of times.
No, Sonny, this happens to me more often than it should. And they're fleecy on the inside and not on the outside. How did I not realise? I've been going around like that and it was grand. Like, but I'd been going around like that all day long. I was like, oh my God. And like, what do? You can't just get into your car and take your pants off. You probably get arrested.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a bit of a tepid mess moment. I was like, oh sweet Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But look, there you go.
Look, could be worse.
Could be worse.
We could be hot messes. We could be
off
our heads on drugs.
Babe, at least I'd pants on.
Pants on.
Hot mess would have been no pants.
Yeah, true that. True that.
Do you remember actually the last time I was up with Sonja? We came down from Dublin to Cork together. We drove down, and Sonja, I had like come up with going out clothes, and Sonja lent me just like a pair of like gym shorts to drive home in. But I obviously only had my shoes
and Chelsea boots,
Chelsea boots that I'd been wearing the night before, and like a big like puffer coat. And I just remember having to stop for petrol at some junction and getting out and like the legs out, freezing cold, and Chelsea boots. I looked unhinged.
And you came into the shop and everything.
Oh yeah, I went into the shop and everything. I was like, look in for a penny in for a pound. I'm in the Midlands now, no one knows me.
Do you know what? It's probably not the weirdest thing they've seen that day. I'd imagine working at a petrol station, you'd get some fucking crazy characters coming in. Like,
I'd say so.
You deal with all sorts.
Yeah.
Especially on that road from Cork to Dublin. And, you know, that road goes to so many places as well, like Limerick, whatever.
That road to take you to Australia if you went, keep going. Keep driving.
It's like, sure, my car floats. 'Tis only a small thing.
Honestly.
But
yeah. Okay. Do you want to get into the theme?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. Right. So the theme for this week is Romantasy.
Fairy porn.
Absolute filth for adults.
Oh, like we were talking about this only earlier, where I can't, like, I don't know, I as a teenager loved to read. Read everything, anything, loads of different types of books.
Yeah.
All I can read now in the space of a day is smut. Fantasy based smut. Like, if there's no fays or vampires that have different names, because it's always vampires, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Not about it.
It's not enough just to have smut. Like, just a little bit of background. Romantasy is the genre of romance fantasy. So Romantasy. And typically it wouldn't really be marketed towards young adults. Well, I hope it's not. Because some of them...
Young adults being children? Teenagers?
No, like, the young adult section, like Twilight would be in the young adult section.
Yeah.
Whereas I would say Twilight now would be quite vanilla.
Twilight needed more porn. Hot take.
Hot take.
They needed some writing in there. Bella should have written Jacob. I'm still, like, not that she should have sailed off into the sunset, right? Because he did end up being a bit of a diddler. But...
Diddler?
He did! He was a groomer. Like, I'm sorry, but he's like, I've imprinted on a newborn baby. Come on.
Yeah.
Like,
that was a bit out there. Like, I was such a big Twilight fan as a teenager, and even I was like, I really can't stand behind this now, Stephanie Meyer. I don't know what the angle is here. But,
it's fucked up.
Yeah.
But, like, how good would Twilight have been if we had some sex in it?
If it was spicy.
There was a bit of sex in it, though, wasn't there?
Yeah, but it wasn't very graphic. It was like, oh,
yeah, it was
lovely.
the honeymoon. It was like book 4. They kept edging us until book 4. I'm a victim of Twilight. No one.
Twilight edging. Oh my God.
I just, but like Romantasy then I think really caters to, I think for the most part the audience tends to be sort of women in their probably mid-20s upwards.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't know any 50-year-olds that are reading it.
I think they should be.
I think everyone should be. But
yeah.
Like, do you know when we were kids, do you remember in the bookshops, there were always, like, I always think that, like, these, like, spicy books, they were always a thing. They were
God, yeah.
there. But you remember
there was, like,
it was
stand.
a rotating stand.
Yeah.
And it would be like, my night with the prince.
Yeah. Or, like, a hot night in Mexico.
Yeah.
And it'd be, like, this really handsome man and, like, this woman in, like, a flowing dress.
That's my inspo for pictures when I'm traveling. I'm like, think of me on the cover of a romance book, like, looking back seductively, being like... Oh, who is she? She has spicy secrets.
But yeah, so what was your first romantasy? What was your, like, when did you first become aware of it? When did you first start reading it? Was it someone recommended it to you, or what happened?
I think it was you that actually got me into it. You recommended A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, great intro book.
Yeah.
Do you know, so it's a great book. It's a great series of books. I really enjoy it. Yeah. I wanted to show my boyfriend, because he's like, what kind of, because he doesn't read at all. And he was like, I love reading. He goes, what kind of books do you read? I was like, fairy porn. like, and
I think that's the thing. I think I remember I've recommended this book to an overwhelming number of people. And I always feel so awkward because I feel like people look at me different when I recommend this. So I'm like, they're like, what's it about? And I'm like, okay, so it is about fairies. And they're like the ones with wings and ears. I'm like, not really. But I mean, that's the gist. Like, they are mythical creatures. But I'm telling you, it's spicy out like 5 chilies, like really, really good. Oh, and they're like, what? And, like, they're just after reading, like, Conversations with Friends or flipping, what's the other one? The Sally J. Rooney one. Like, you know what I mean? They're like, what? In the name of God? I'm like, just give it a chance. Yeah. Just give it a chance if you hate it. And I'm telling you this much, 9 times out of 10, within, like, 6 months, all of these people have read the whole series. Yeah. And, like, they're like, there's a void in my life. Yeah. When they finish it, I'm like, right, here's another series that you can get started on. And that's the gorgeous thing about Romantasy as well. They're never, like, 1 or 2 books in a series or 3. It's never a trilogy. It's, like, 9. Yeah. 9 books. Yeah. Here you go.
Yeah, 100%. I think as well, with Romantasy, like, when you think about, you know, like, I feel like porn as a, like, method of consumption, things like OnlyFans, look, they have their market. It is mostly, not always, but it is for the most part men, because I think they're more visual creatures. I think most men will agree with that. I think women, though, we're more in tune with the emotion, and I think that if you read a story where it was just like, bang, like, let's do it. We'd be like, ugh, like, that's disgusting. But when it's got this, normally it's a lovers to, or enemies to lovers trope, or it's a marriage by convenience and things like that, like all those kind of tropes.
Yeah.
We're very, like, you're very emotionally invested in, like...
Yeah, you built the characters, you know what makes them tick, you know what makes them emotionally vulnerable.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's the whole backstory.
Yeah. So I think for women, it's more of an emotional thing, but it's YBN.
Yeah. And I have to say that the most gas thing as well is that you can literally be like sitting on a train reading this absolute dirt.
Oh my god!
Dirt.
Like because I always read on like my tablet or on my phone, and I'm literally like, okay, let me just turn the brightness down to like 1%.
Oh, girl, I'm listening to a series at the moment, and like I listen to books often on Audible. And I'll be like driving to and from work, and if I ever offer someone a spin or something, I'm like, Jesus, turn that off! Oh my god! Like, good lord! Like, he burned at me with those black eyes. I'm like, oh god, turn it off! Sick. We put on 96 FM there, will we?
There's a very well-known chapter 55 in the second Court of Thorns and Roses book that in that series, and it's chapter 55 where like is probably the spiciest scene that you can get from that book series basically. And I was trying to explain to my boyfriend why it had such an appeal, and I was like, but just listen to this. I decided to read this chapter out loud to him, and right, this is going to get vulgar. Thank God I've already put it on that this is not appropriate for under 18.
Yeah.
But he goes, why is there so much fingering?
You're not wrong.
There's so much. Just having a little giggle while I'm reading. I'm like, this is emotional stuff. Like
They've finally come together and realised that they love each other.
Yes, that's it. I do have to say, like, one thing, and so I've decided to start writing my own romantasy. Now, whether this ever sees the light of day...
I have to read it. We should do a dramatic excerpt on this pod. Honestly, I have to read it.
Now... For me, I didn't base... I'm trying to base it more in modern times a little bit. And it's a bit more like... But it like... Okay,
babe, what do you mean? What about the only bed at the inn?
The only bed?
You know, we checked into this inn because it was a stormy night and there was only one bed. So what were we meant to do when we get into it?
After that long ride of horseback journey.
What are you gonna say? There was only one bed in the travel lodge. After we were bombing it in the course at 120k down the motorway.
I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I've got a plot in mind. I'm hoping that my brain starts working. I get a lot of inspo in terms of the connections between characters. But one thing that really kind of bothers me about a lot of these books is the female characters, like it's nearly always based entirely on from the perspective of a female character, which I love.
Yeah.
And they're often these quite complicated people, but they have, which is good as well, of course. But it's nearly always this thing of like, there's absolutely no, like, it's this constant narrative of self-doubt. And I kind of feel like a lot of these books that I read have this similar, like, the same main character every time. Like, 1 second they're like, fuck you, I won't do what you're telling me, and they're like fucking throwing knives and stabbing their potential lover in the chest, which I've actually read a book that she does that, and then he's like, ow, because Faye.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, I don't like this whole like really fiery and angry and kind of intense 1 second, and then the next second, like, maybe it's real, maybe it's realistic to be like that riddled with self-doubt, but I struggle a little bit with that, where it's like there's not a whole lot of inward thinking or reflection shown for the characters. Like, it doesn't show growth in that sense, or maturity in your characters, and these aren't, the reality is these books are written by women that are usually in their kind of 40s. I think the authors that we read from, that I've certainly read from, tend to be kind of in their 40s, 50s. So they're writing this perspective of like a character who's very immature and very undeveloped. And that frustrates me a small bit. Yeah. So I'm trying to work a little bit on that and have a character that's a bit more relatable without being...
Sometimes boring. I think as well their physical descriptions kind of send me a little bit. It's like, I'm just so small and my green orbs are shining in the moonlight. And my hand is only the size of his baby finger.
Yeah, like, why are they always like 6'5"? Like, who are these giants?
But the women then are 4 foot and weigh about 7 kilos, and sure, they can just pick me up and fling me around. I'm like, girl, come on.
Yeah, there's a series of books that I'm reading at the moment. I can't remember. A Light in the Flame, I think is what they're called, and I really enjoy it. First of all, but there's the whole thing about the character, and what I quite liked about it was that she's like, I'm not a thin person, like I've always had like a bit more meat on my bones, but then she's also pirouetting with blades and knives in between her enemies, and like, do you know, she's training like for 17 hours a day, and you're like, sorry, come on. And then like in the book she gets called a fatty.
Like, that's mean. That's mean.
I'm like one of the characters, and you're supposed to think this character is a total bitch, but like, it's like, she goes like, why would you choose like her over me? Why would you choose this fatty over me? And you're like, this girl apparently is training multiple hours a day. Like, come on, like, be realistic. Like, this person's probably toned as fuck. That's okay to say, but like, don't then be like, oh, I'm relatable because I got a bit of chub. Like, it's I have a bit of chub, but I sit and watch Netflix all the time. So fair enough, you know.
I have to say, sometimes in the gym, we were talking last week about like how I imagine scenarios in my brain to motivate me. Yeah. But like, I have to say, sometimes it's like, do you know when you're like reading a fantasy book and it's like, I had to train to ride this dragon, I'll fall off the dragon otherwise, and all this. I'm like, and like these extremely detailed like world building and like extremely detailed scenes of them training and like what the regime was like and how they went from being this tiny little 4 foot nothing blow away in a puff of wind to being like, I can finally see muscle definition and I'm eating so much protein and all this, and like I'm like, yeah, I'm in mythical training camp here as I'm doing this squash.
It's like, how will I ever ride my dragon if I don't do these 100 goblet squats?
Yeah, literally. Honestly.
It just...
Unhinged.
I know, and I love them. I really love I love the genre. I love these kind of books because I think, again, they're geared towards a female audience. They provide something that's just not there at the moment. And I think it's a booming industry. Like, I think, for sure, honestly,
I feel like in the last year it's really taken off.
Yeah, crazy. And like, do you know, the thing is, like I said, like Niamh download the sort of Audible books or things like that, and obviously there's paperback and stuff like that. If I had a paperback book of it, I'm not gonna lie, I'd be putting a newspaper over it while I'm reading it in public spaces, because I can't control. If I have 5 seconds free, I'm reading it. Like, but like, I download it on my tablet, and like I go through Google Books because that's just the app that's on my already in all of my devices. Yeah, but like millions of downloads, and what they cost like €6 each. There's absolutely no publishing costs associated with
an ebook,
or well, there would be some sort of cost for an audiobook because you pay someone to speak it and things like that. But like, still, I'd say the money that can be made from it is incredible. Yeah. And I want A Court of Thorns and Roses TV series.
Oh, can you imagine?
I'd love it.
Honestly, I feel like every now and again I see whispers that it's happening. Like, if HBO pick that up, HBO, if you're listening, seriously,
got an idea.
Get on it. Get on it, because so many people have read this book. Yeah. So many people. And like, even people who would not be into fantasy, would not be into like romance books, anyone that I've given this book to, bar one, she was like, I just can't get on board with it. And I was like, something wrong with you.
I was like, okay, weirdo.
Yeah.
Go read your Night in Mexico. I'll be on the cover of that soon.
No, this particular person I'd say was like reading, I don't know, Barack Obama's autobiography or something. Like,
Okay,
it's a
fair.
just very, very highly logical person. She's like, I just can't, it's not real. I'm like, no, it's not. And that's the beauty of it. Because have you seen those TikToks? Actually, it's like me like reading before I go to bed and like close the book and realise I'm not a fake queen who's being pursued by a warrior. It's like, and I have to go to work in the morning.
Capitalism!
Fuck this, like.
Why does nobody talk about this? And, like, it's always as well, like, or nearly always, like, a very disadvantaged or poor female character, and then a very, very wealthy or very powerful male character.
Work.
And, like, we love it. I want to be a little princess. Just
Okay, if you were in a fantasy book, what would your name be?
Oh, that's a good question. Do you know, there's always that thing, it's like, do you know, you get your fantasy name by doing like your like the, what is it, your surname backwards.
Oh, Jesus.
Plus the colour of your top, so I'd be Red Raw Pink.
Red Raw Pink.
Red Raw sounds kind of fucked up though. It's like, you bet you're Red Raw.
Oh my goodness. What was my name backwards? Oh God. Tabar. No,
what?
Tarab.
I just mixed up your full name.
Tarab. Tarab beige. That's not as mythical and mystical as I thought it might be. Tarab beige.
I
definitely sound like a goblin. There she is now, Tarab beige, coming in to forge the whatever.
It's always those names as well. Like, there's always these really unusual names that I'm like definitely pronouncing wrong, and I read the whole book with this idea that it's the name, and then you get to maybe the last page and the author very helpfully puts in a pronunciation. I'm like,
was that you? No, it wasn't you. I remember we were kids and someone in our class, we were talking about Harry Potter, and at this point I think only like 3 movies were out. Like, we were maybe in secondary school at this point, and someone's like, oh yeah, you know, Hermione, her name's Hermione, but it's Hermione or something. And I was like, excuse me? Hermione? Who? Like, hormones? Are you Harmony? Like, I know I am. Like, it's like, what?
yeah, that's the tough thing about these books. Like, and I'd say the audiobooks help with that a lot, because you get to
because you read the first one and then you download the next one that's audiobook. It's like, oh right, so I've been saying that wrong the whole time. Like, I don't know why, but like, you know, in A Court of Thorns and Roses, your one's name is Feyre. I was like,
I thought it was Faye.
I thought it was like Fee. It's Feyre.
All right, well, you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
What's do you know the, like, I call him Rysand. It's not his name.
Rishand.
No, fuck off. That's not the name.
But that's I think that's what the audiobook lady is saying.
I have to reread those books because I've been making it up.
Yeah.
I've been making it up as I go along. Because, like, then some of them are very, like, then others are called Debra.
How raging would you be? Here's Feyre and Rishand, and look, there's Alan.
Literally. That's tough. It's tough to be a Debra in a world of Feyres.
Do you know what? I feel like in those mythical worlds, I would be a Debra. They'd be like, what we need to do now is we need to, like, get this potion and blah, 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 blah. And I'd be like, alright lads, you know what? We can all just see how it pans out, right? Slow it down. Calm it down. We can just put her into second gear there now.
Yeah.
And we can all just see. Yeah. And just quietly watch. Be grand. You don't need to be involved in everything, lads.
Do you know what I just thought of? Like, obviously then, like, we hail from Ireland. So we have quite a few names that, especially for those who are not from Ireland, are quite difficult to pronounce or, like, know how to say when you immediately read them. And Niamh obviously ends in an MH. So a lot of non-Irish would say Niamh.
Yeah.
And we were...
I've gotten so Naomi, I've gotten Niamh, yeah, that's quite common.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Niamaha.
And I just always... We were at a party and there were
Oh, Sonja, I know what you're about to say, and I'm honestly, I actually am not over that yet. Oh God!
I picture this is how the book characters respond to the exact same comment, because we're here making fun of these like book characters, whatever. These could all be very legitimate names as well. So apologies to all the Rashans and the Feyres or whatever your fucking name is. But these people at this party, you know, non-Irish, were like, oh, I found it so hard to pronounce your name. It's such a weird name. Like, it's so weird, Niamh. And like, fair enough. Don't call someone's name weird to their face. Like, fuck you.
Okay, can I just say, right? I'm going to give a bit of context to this, right? Alcohol was taken.
And it was like about 3 a.m.
It was about 3 a.m. at that point, and I think I was kind of done. I was a bit tired. And he was like, what's your name? And I was like, oh, it's Niamh. He was like, excuse me? What? I was like, oh, it's Niamh. Like, think of your knee, the joint, and the word O-F. Niamh. Yeah, that's my name. He was like, oh, Irish names are so weird. Like, that's such a weird name. And I kept saying it.
Niamh goes, my name's not weird, it's ancient.
Oh God. And I don't think he heard me, so I kept saying this. Excuse me, my name isn't weird, it's ancient. It's an ancient Irish Celtic name, and it's beautiful. She was a princess.
To be fair, though, you got the same man to get on his hands and knees and beg you for a cigarette. So
yeah, he'd pissed me off at that point. He was like, can I have a fag? I was like, actually. Yikes. He was like, yeah, at the same man, he was like, oh, can I borrow a cigarette? And I was like, ask me nicely. He was like, please. And I was like, nicer. And he got on his knees and he was like, please. And I was like, okay, open your mouth. I'm such a wagon. Oh God.
No, I think you're right to do it.
Yeah.
Do you know, sometimes people need to be put in their place.
I'm humbling everyone out here anyway, allegedly.
I love it. I'm here for it. I had a great time.
Yeah. I just remember you watching, like, and I was like, what's so funny? He's calling me weird. So yeah, don't go out there calling people's names weird.
Yeah. Or you'll have girls like Niamh
getting you to beg for things,
getting cross. So we make fun of all these romantasy character names, but you know,
yeah, that's what in the rage room today I was thinking of him. Boom, I'm ancient. Boom,
I'm ancient. It's like, it's descended from queens.
I am a princess from Tirnadog. Wallop into a drum. There we go. So yeah, that's Romantasy. Keep it up, everyone. If you haven't read Romantasy, give it a shot, because honestly, you would be shocked.
Yeah. Highly recommend. And if that book I write ever comes out, it'll be written under a pen name. You'll know nothing about it.
It'll be Trab Beige.
Yeah, you might see us Renra Ajnos. Just gave my full name.
Well. Anyway, see you next week, guys.
Alright, bye.
Love you, bye. So if you enjoyed what you heard today, guys, you can find us on Spotify at Tepid Mess Pod, and we've just started an Instagram at Tepid Mess Pod, and you can also find us on TikTok under the same name. Okay, love you, bye.